Hello, everyone. So many of the great stories in human history that have been passed down through the generations, whether they're historical or metaphorical, they're all stories about personal power and how we use it. This is really a pivotal question in our human experience. And arguably, it's the single greatest moral question we each face in life. What am I going to do with the sources of power that have been entrusted to me? A person could easily write an entire book on this topic, but perhaps we can address it with a very simple framework comprised of three questions. What sources of power do I have? Where do they come from? And why do I have them? What sources of power do I have? Where do they come from? And why do I have them? Once we move beyond a life of scarcity, a life that's preoccupied with finding enough food and shelter to survive, our lives often focus on securing various types of power to use for personal advantage, to advance personal security and comfort. The most obvious, of course, is money and wealth. But other forms of power include our time, our intelligence and ability to learn new things, our personality, the influence we can have over other people. For some of us, physical attractiveness, that's not one I worry about a lot, but maybe one day, and social capital and so forth. All these sources of power in our lives. The first question asks us to reflect on and identify which sources of power we have in our lives. What do I have that enables me to affect the world around me? What do I have access to that offers me an opportunity to shape the life experience for myself and the life experience for other people, even for just a day or even a moment? We all have that ability. We all have that power to affect the experience that we have in life or to affect the experience that other people are having. If not in the long term, certainly in the short term, during an encounter, for a moment, for a minute, for an hour, for a full day, but we can affect life experience. What sources of power do we each have that give us that ability? Secondly, we ask ourselves, where did we get this power? Where did it come from? The obvious answer, of course, is from our Creator, from God. All power comes from God. But we need to be careful here, right? Do we really believe what we profess? Do we? It's very tempting to think that our power comes from ourselves, that our power comes from our own self development and hard work, that our wealth, talent, influence, intellect, and so forth was all created and curated by us, and thus it all belongs to us to do with as we like. But this is the voice of ego talking. It's not the voice of spirit. Ego tricks us into losing sight of the reality that life itself and all gifts in life come from God. We are not entitled to even a single breath we take. It all comes from God. Finally, we ask ourselves about the expectations that come with this power. Why have these resources of power been entrusted to me? Again, the answer is not buried in obscure philosophy or theology. It's plain as day. It's right there in the heart of our faith. We've been entrusted with these sources of power to spread love in the world. That's why they've been given to us, to spread love in the world. In the gospel, James and John try to use their power of access and persuasion to convince Jesus to guarantee them a favored spot in eternity. Now, Jesus, of course, shuts that down fast, and he shuts it down hard right now. You have no idea how this all works, he admonishes them. You're thinking small, ego driven thoughts that assume the power of influence can be wielded for your own benefit. That's upside down. It's backwards. You should be using your power for the benefit of others. That's how true disciples of Christ see things. It kind of calls our bluff, doesn't it? We are called to use the various forms of power entrusted to us to serve others, not to serve ourselves. 3 quick questions to ponder. What sources of power do I have? Where do they come from? And why do I have them? May the power of Christ's love rain down upon you. May the power of Christ's love stir the heart within you. May the power of Christ's love flow into the world through you. Peace be with you, my friends. Have a great week.